Hi guys, it's Omer from MMOs.com. Doing a quick week news recap of all major MMO news and announced for the week ending September 2nd, 2019. This is episode number 250 in the recap, and the first bit of news this week comes from Nexon regarding Peria Chronicles, and it's a sad one. Nexon officially canceled development for Peria Chronicles after spending $8.2 million in development costs. This is unfortunate because we've talked about Peria Chronicles quite a bit in the past here at MMOs.com, mainly because it was trying to do something a bit different in the MMO space. Its developers said the game was best compared to Minecraft rather than a typical MMORPG, despite actually being an MMO. So a sandbox player-driven MMO sounded really cool, and since they had their first public beta test on May 9th, we were getting excited that Peria Chronicles was actually happening. Unfortunately, that test didn't go well. Players didn't really like the game, and Nexon pulled the plug on it officially and canceled it. Rest in pepperoni, Peria Chronicles. Definitely sad to see this one go because it was such an interesting, unique concept. Next up, Arena unveiled the next season in Guild Wars 2 Living World called Icebrood Saga, and it's the latest addition to the Fantasy MMORPG series of episodic content updates, and is set to launch on September 17th with the prologue episode titled Bound by Blood. This new season brings with it a new story arc, new locations, and a new antagonist to deal with. It included the new Gromthar Valley and Northern Silver Peaks bosses, as well as a newly awakened Drakkar, which was the first seen in the first Guild Wars games. New strike missions are also being added to the game, which are epic 10-man boss encounters. To celebrate the new season's launch, the Heart of Thorns expansion is now free for anyone who owns or purchases the Path of Fire expansion. And anyone who bought Heart of Thorns in the past gets a free Veterans Pack as a reward. Up next, a quick update on WoW Classic. Since launch, Blizzard has been slowly adding more servers, but the busier servers are still extremely packed. I've been playing every day since WoW Classic came on, and there's always been about a 5,000 per person queue during peak hours on Incendius, which is the server I'm on. At nighttime, though, the queues do die down once you get past 11 p.m. or so, but the servers have remained incredibly packed. It's only been 1 week or so since Classic launched, but one guild already downed Ragnaros and Molten Core, which is incredible. I've been playing a bit more casually, and I'm only level 26 or so as of this video, but I do have over 30 hours played in-game already, so maybe I'm not exactly casual, but I'm only level 26. The hype for WoW Classic is real, and I imagine the servers are going to stay super busy for a long time. Next up, we put up a quick story on MMOs.com about bots continuing to run amok in Final Fantasy XIV. I think the screenshot is worth sharing. This was posted on Reddit by a user named Claudia Einhart, and it shows a line of dozens of bots farming gil via automated scripts. What makes this screenshot even more ridiculous is that it came one day after Square Enix did a huge ban wave of bots, but apparently didn't catch these bots, or these are new bots. While botting is impossible to eliminate completely in any MMORPG, it is a bit ridiculous that stuff like this even goes on in Final Fantasy XIV to this degree. It's the most obvious group of bots I've ever seen. Just look at the player names. It's literally random characters. It seems like Square Enix isn't even trying to stop these people. This isn't particularly a unique image either, as I've seen at least a dozen times similar scenes while leveling in Final Fantasy XIV. Square Enix needs to do a better job at banning these bots because it's a bit ridiculous. Up next, ArcheAge Unchained revealed its launch date, and it's happening a bit sooner than I thought. The buy-to-play ArcheAge Unchained servers are coming live on September 30th, with the cheapest version available for purchase right now during pre-sales for $26. There's also a $50 bundle and an $80 pack available as well. ArcheAge Unchained is a buy-to-play version of ArcheAge that Gamigo promises will have no pay-to-win elements. There'll be a cash shop in the game, but for cosmetics and other small goodies like that. But Gamigo has promised no pay-to-win stuff, which sounds great in theory, as the pay-to-win stuff was the biggest criticism for ArcheAge on the free-to-play server, which of course will be running concurrently with this Unchained version. The free-to-play version is not shutting down. It'll be keep running on its own. So yeah, ArcheAge Unchained buy-to-play server launching September 30th. Next up, Monster Hunter World's Iceborne expansion officially launched on September 6th on consoles, and those on Xbox can start playing it for free during its open beta from now until September 4th. Fortunately, there is no release date on the PC just yet, but the console version is launching on the 6th. Monster Hunter World is the most popular game in the franchise and remains incredibly popular. This is the game's first expansion pack since launch as well. So yeah, Iceborne coming out real soon. Hopefully the PC version isn't too far behind. Up next, NeoWiz and Bandai Namco announced that the Xbox One exclusive launch for Bless Unleashed is set to launch into open beta sometime in November. Open beta begins on November 7th and runs until the 21st. I remain highly skeptical about the Xbox launch of this game, as the PC one was a complete disaster. The game will be buy-to-play on consoles and will run Unreal Engine 4, so it'll be perhaps a bit more optimized than the PC version, but given my experience with the PC version and what NeoWiz has said in the past about the PC version being optimized and remade, they basically just lied about that, so I can't recommend the console one, only because I expect it to run like ass as well. But hey, for the people that do like Bless on the PC and do want to play it on consoles, you can check it out on November 4th for open beta. Next up, PlanetSide Arena is still a thing. We haven't heard too much about this one since it was first announced a while ago, and they did say it was launching into early access this summer, and they're technically keeping their promise, as the game is launching into early access on September 19th, which is towards the end of summer, but it's still in the summer. Those that don't remember, PlanetSide Arena is a spin-off of PlanetSide 2 that just focuses on the core gameplay without the MMO elements. So it's basically PlanetSide 2 without territory control, RPG elements, or the MMO stuff. It'll have traditional deathmatch modes, capture the flags, and eventually a 1,000 vs 1,000 huge battle mode, but mainly you're focusing on the core gameplay with the gunplay. PlanetSide Arena will be buy to play, and it'll be on early access on September 19th. Up next, Pagan Online officially launched, and the launch version includes a master update that adds 2 new playable classes to the game, new zones, new skill trees, and revamped game systems, and more. The game is published by Wargaming, the company best known for World of Tanks, but is developed by Madhead Games and is on Steam right now for $29.99. Since launching the game has been averaging about 600 to 700 or so players online at any given time on Steam alone, which is definitely not bad. And the gameplay looks fun, but I think Pagan Online is going to have a tough time competing with Path of Exile, which is free to play. Still, if you like ARPGs and want to try a new one, give Pagan Online a try. Next up, Warframe's 41st frame is joining Warframe's ever-growing roster of characters with the upcoming Saint of Alta update, which adds a new water-walking Warframe sometime within the next week or so on PC and sometime in September for consoles. You can see the cool new Warframe in action in the video in the background. Warframe remains one of the most popular free-to-play games in the West, averaging a cool 53,000 or so players online at any given time on Steam alone, which is, again, pretty incredible, and the game has been growing pretty much steadily since launch. Up next, the anime VR MMO Nostos is launching the closed beta on September 5th, and it's the game's first ever closed beta and is set to run until September 9th. It's developed and published by China's #2 game developer and publisher NetEase Games. Visually, the game looks really cool, at least in this trailer, but I'm curious how much of an MMO it'll actually be. Up until now, the only real VR MMORPG has been Orbis VR. The trailer looks really cool, and I do want to give it a try, but I don't think VR MMOs are anywhere near mainstream level yet. But I do have a vibe, so I do want to check this one out if I can get into that closed beta. Next up, we have yet another sandbox survival-like game with MMO elements called Population Zero, which begins its closed beta testing on September 19th. Visually, the game looks a lot like No Man's Sky, but it builds itself as an MMO with both PvP and PvE elements, with discovery and exploration at its core. The cool thing about Population Zero is that it'll be free to play at launch, and open beta is set to begin sometime in 2020. Closed beta, though, will cost money, and players can buy Founders Packs right away, which the pricing isn't crazy for the Founders Packs. The cheapest one's only $10. There aren't too many of these sandbox survival games that are free to play, so I think at least that kind of differentiates them, but it looks a lot like No Man's Sky. Next and last news this week comes from Dena and Nintendo regarding their newest mobile game, Pokemon Masters, which is a mobile Pokemon game, but unfortunately it plays nothing like a mainline Pokemon game. Still, it has the Pokemon name, and that alone will get millions of people to give it a try. And of course, given that it's a mobile game, expect a lot of autoplay elements built in. But yeah, anyway guys, that's it for MMO News this week. I'm not sure if we'll be doing a podcast tomorrow, but either way, I will see you guys next week. Later guys.